I want to give you a quick preview of what we're working on for the next version of DMHub. In the previous version, we just shipped this new screen in your character sheet where you can configure the appearance of your character. You can easily set up their avatar, you can give them different appearances, you can preview it, you can even give them an anthem that plays when it's their turn in battle. We're trying to develop a complete character building system, and what we're working on next is building out the system where you can generate attributes, you can select your race and class and so forth. And we're starting off with just generating attributes, so that's what I'm going to show you here today. And typically in most role-playing games, there tends to be a variety of ways that you can generate your attributes. So we're trying to make a system that is as general as possible to meet as many cases as possible. And so we have different what we call generation methods, and the most basic is the manual entry, where you just manually enter your scores. So this can work. You can generate them offline yourself or negotiate them with your GM or whatever. And you'll see here that you type them in here, and this shows you your base attribute scores. Down the bottom here, we have your final attribute scores. We can see that this character is the default of a human, so they get +1 on each of their attribute scores. And we do this little thing where we show what we call an orb, where for every modification to an attribute score, a little orb will show up here, and you can mouse over it to get some details about what it is. And these orbs will be different colors depending on if the change is positive or negative and what kind of feature it comes from. So you can do manual entry. You can also do rolling, and when you roll, we have this attractive little panel. We have everything set to be not initialized yet, and we can press this button to roll the dice. And we can roll one at a time. I usually like to take my time with them and kind of watch what's happening. If you're a bit more impatient, you can just start clicking and they'll happily roll. And then once you've got your scores, you can start to assign them to your attributes. So I can decide maybe I'm building a fighter, so I want to put the strength as the highest, and I guess these are not very good scores, but that's okay. So I will assign them all here, and then we have our scores, and you can see they're calculated out down the bottom. We of course have a standard array, which is also popular, just to have a standard list of numbers. And you'll see that it works very similarly, except you just get a static list of numbers that you fill from. And then we also have a points buy system. So if you have points buy, you have a certain number of points, and you start off with these scores, and you can just add, and it calculates how many points you have remaining. This is following the standard 5e rules of you can go up to 15, and going to 14 or 15 points cost 2 points each. So I can build like that. And these methods that I've shown, they mostly follow standard 5e rules, but we've tried to make them as customizable as possible. So all of these generation methods are actually configurable in your compendium. So the GM can decide how they want attributes to be generated in their game. So here you'll see the list of all the different methods we just showed, and you can actually add your own new methods if you want. As an example, suppose you wanted it to be you wanted a choice of two standard arrays. So you want a standard array maybe that has a bit more variance. You could decide that you're going to create a second standard array. So we can call this variant, and then we can put the method of this as standard array, and maybe they get a 17 and 16, but then they get some really bad scores as well, or something like that. So and then players could choose from either of these, and you can also decide that maybe you want to disable this from players, maybe you want to use it for NPCs, or maybe you'll use it later or something. And likewise, all of the methods have some customization options. So the roll method, you can choose what you roll. So this is the default 5e roll of 46 keep 3. If you wanted, say, like really epic characters, maybe you'd like to increase it to 5d6 keep 3. And you can also do extra rolls. So normally we roll as many dice, as many sets of dice as their attributes. But suppose you wanted to give your players a little more leeway, you could put like one extra roll. And if you did this, then if we went and looked, you would see that with the roll option, you'll see that now they get to roll 7, and so they get one extra one, so they can probably just ignore whichever one has the lower score. So you can see that you can pretty extensively customize it. We can see I got some better scores this time. Well, also some pretty bad scores. And you can see from this that you can customize it pretty extensively to choose exactly how you want it to work. Another idea is that maybe you can make the rolls have, like, you could make a commoner roll, which is just 3d6, and then a hero roll would be a 4d6 keep 3, and then an epic roll could be 5d6 keep 3, and then, like, if you want to generate an NPC quickly, you can choose, like, is this NPC just a commoner who doesn't have particularly good attributes, or maybe it's some epic hero that the players are going to be up against. Likewise, the points buy also can be customized, and so we say how many points you get, which is the 5e rule, the 27. But you can then say you have this table here, which gives values for each different attribute value, how many points it costs, and you'll see that it normally goes up by 1 each time, but once they get high enough, it goes up by 2. If you wanted to let them buy to 16, you could add a new entry for 16. You could even make the table start at 7 and say that 7 has a -1, so that then they can reduce to 7 and get some extra points or whatever. And so we're hoping that this will cover most cases people are interested in, and really help your players get going quickly by being able to build their characters and follow the rules. And we're planning to develop this whole thing until we have a full character builder. We're planning on working on something that really makes the races and classes selection much nicer. And then we're going to do starting equipment and so forth. And by the end of all this, we're hoping to have a pretty comprehensive character builder that we hope you'll enjoy using for building your characters.